Jimmy Spithill.
Thanks, Richard. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome, and thanks very much for having me here today. Many of us have grown up with sailing since we were kids, but that doesn't mean we can take it for granted or miss an opportunity to improve it, to make it more approachable and more understandable. And to be honest with you, I'd sign up for all three of those. Controversy and the Cup never seemed to be far apart. That was as true earlier this year as it was back in 1851. While we would be bored of a sport without its controversies or talking points, we certainly don't want it plagued with uncertainty or delay. If you have followed what has been said about the reforms being brought in the America's Cup, you will see that they boil down to three key things. First off, we need continuity. That's what independent management and good dispute resolution procedures bring. Secondly, sustainability is vital. You might say that the Cup has survived on a handful of rich people for over 159 years. Now, this might work for some teams, though many owners seek sponsorship these days, and everyone is looking for a return on the investment. But it certainly doesn't work for the event, which is much more dependent on commercial partnerships. Now, if I told you that the 32nd America's Cup in 2007 cost $250 million, you'll see why sustainability is imperative. Thirdly, and crucially, we want more people simply turned on by the America's Cup. And I'm not talking about sailors just tuning in, I'm talking about non-sailors tuning into the game. Well, if the future is sailing better, thinking quicker, working harder, sailing faster, anticipating better, then it's something I'm really looking forward to. And this is how I see the next America's Cup. Seriously challenging sailing in seriously cool boats, with real drama on the water and off the water. The best sailors and the fastest boats. Now, a question for you. Which of these boats do you think kids really want to go sailing? The monohull or the multi-hull? I guess the more exciting boat wins. When the call was made in the last America's Cup to go to multi-hulls, I remember the initial reaction was disappointment and frustration. And to be honest, I was a little surprised myself. But very quickly after I thought about it, it turned to excitement. I mean, what a fantastic opportunity to be exposed to a discipline of our sport that has always seemed so far out of reach. Personally, I always enjoy a challenge in going out of my own comfort zone. Plus, to do it while going 40 knots and knowing the margin of error is so small, I mean, what a bonus. And you know what? It can be done. Switching to multi-hulls is doable. You only have to look at the recent record of Rob Greenhall from Origin, Alinghi's helmsman Ed Baird, and our own sailing team of John Kostecki or Dirk de Ritter. In a monohull, you get used to just looking at the jib and things happening quite slowly. In a big, powerful multi-hull, capable of tripling the wind speed, your reactions and skills are accelerated. It's all about being ahead of the cycle. In a monohull, the telltales might lift a little, you might be a degree off targets, but the inertia means the speed soaks off very slowly, and it's barely noticeable. In a 120-foot multi-hull, you can be flying a hull 1 minute and dropping it into the water the next. And let me tell you, that doesn't impress the crew much. Okay, I bet some of you here are already ahead of me thinking, all right, this guy's converted to multi-hulls. Okay, fine. But he still has the experience of the wing sail that few of his rivals have. And this will be a nice little edge to have going into the next America's Cup. Well, believe me when I say this, that this advantage is overrated. Wings have been around for decades. We've just been very slow to catch up. First, the wing sail speed comes from your design team. And wing shapes have been around for a very, very long time. Also, we would have won the America's Cup without the wing. the wing sail was a little bit faster than our soft sail package, but we would have got the job done with the soft sails if needed. The transition from soft sails to a wing sail rig is easier than you'd imagine. Now, what I'm excited about for the next America's Cup is going to be match racing in multi-hulls. Earlier this year, we carried an intensive 4 days of testing and training in Valencia. In some of the exercises, we deliberately put our Extreme 40 catamarans into very tight, constrained spaces, such as a start box that was only 6 boat lengths wide at 6 lengths deep, or course boundaries that forced the boats to tackle a jibe in quick succession. The racing was awesome. It brought you the close quarters racing you get in monohull racing, yet added the excitement and lead changing you get from multi-hulls. Will the racing be different from monohull racing to multi-hull racing? Of course it will be. And what I'm looking forward to the most is the downwind legs. This is because in a multi-hull, you can pass so much more easily than in a monohull. And great racing needs overtaking and lead changing. In monohull match racing and past America's Cups, if you win the start or lead around the top mark, there is only a 10% chance of the boat behind passing. Now, does that really sound like good racing to you? No question about it. To have great racing, you must have passing opportunities. But there is one other big difference between a monohull and a multi-hull, and that's risk. Monohulls don't really look that exciting unless they're powered up or in a big seaway. Even then, the only real risk is that you're going to broach or maybe rip a sail. On a multi-hull, that risk comes a lot higher. Instead of a spin out or a broach or a broken sail, you can capsize and have a real chance of ending your campaign. And that is not a race-winning move. For me, the worst part of the racing rules is when protest hearings happen at the end of the day on land. In our sport, we often change the results of races after they have finished. That's got to be wrong. It certainly confuses the non-sailing spectator. The ultimate objective is this. I believe that sailors and fans should never have to come off the water and see the result change. You hardly ever see it in any other sport. I mean, have you ever been to a game of rugby, gone down to the stadium, seen a game of football, gone home that night, turned on the evening news and found out that they'd changed the score, reversed the result? Have you ever seen a match at Wimbledon and then found out later on the referee decided to change the call after reviewing a line call? Of course not, but it happens all the time in sailing. If there's one thing I hate seeing on a result sheet, it's the words provisional or subject to protest. I'm sorry, but it's just not good enough. Everything should be decided on the water. What goes on the water stays on the water. All right, I'll close with a new initiative about which I'm passionate, the Youth America's Cup. It's a fantastic development. Quite simply, there must be a pathway in place for our young sailors to reach the America's Cup. I know that I've been pretty fortunate with my own career, and it is with no other reason other than sheer good luck. It was through Yacht Club youth programs that I was involved and youth match racing that it led me to an award ceremony in Australia. I was picking up the Youth Match Racing Award, Youth Sailor of the Year Award actually, and Sid Fisher, a legend in Australian ocean racing, was picking up the Ocean Racing Sailor of the Year Award. Afterwards, I went up to him and said, look, I'd love to try this ocean racing. He simply replied, what are you doing this weekend? And that's where it really started. For today's young sailor dreaming of being the next Russell Coutts, we need to replace luck with a structured career path. The Youth America's Cup will convert ambition impossible into ambition achievable. So to summarise, America's Cup racing has to be high intensity, high entertainment, high athleticism, high pressure decision making. Personally, what a fantastic time to be involved in the event. It's a test for those who embrace change, for those with curiosity, and for those who simply want to become better all-round sailors. It's for people who like pushing themselves and going out of their comfort zones. But it's not for the conservative, not for the people who are afraid to fail, and it's not for the armchair critics. But then again, the America's Cup never was. Thanks very much and enjoy the rest of the forum.